Okay, today I have a very special topic for you, and this is a topic where I really would love for you to share back with me what you think, because I want to talk about the biggest mistake that a business analyst can make when doing their job. What is that? You heard me talk a lot about how to apply B mindset, how to use good techniques, how to do business model, how to facilitate meetings. Those are all very important skills of a business analyst. But what about things you shouldn't do? And what about those things that will really ruin your reputation or will prevent you from doing a good job? Here is my take on it. Let me know in the comments what is your own pet peeve and whether you've ever seen a business analyst doing something really annoying or something that truly ruins the work. For me, the biggest mistake of a business analyst is when they talk too much themselves instead of listening. And hear me out. I'll try to be brief. Sometimes business analysts have this ingrained in their brain that their job is to communicate. So they think that wherever they go, they have to communicate, and sometimes it becomes a little bit one-sided. You're presenting and you just keep going ahead, like you forge ahead without getting feedback from the room. You're doing the training and you're just kind of loading off that material on your audience without asking them what they think, how do they feel, what about some examples? So sometimes you're basically just delivering and talking at people instead of waiting for the two-way communication. So remember, communication means two-way street. Another situation happens when a business analyst comes to talk to stakeholders about requirements, but they actually think at the back of their mind that they already know all the answers. Or even worse, they talk to the boss who is the executive stakeholder, told them what the problem is, told them what they think the solution is. And now from an analyst perspective, it's kind of a formality to talk to the team, but they've already programmed what they are supposed to think and supposed to do. And sometimes the team can tell you very different things if you're listening, but if you're not listening, if you think you already know all the answers, it's not going to work. The other example, and that I think is one of the worst for me, is when people just love to show off. They love to hear the sound of their own voice. They can speak very smartly, very intelligently about very interesting topics, using long words, using very fancy terminology. And sometimes the audience loses track of that very eloquent presentation because, again, it's not a two-way communication. It's just a person telling someone about this amazing framework or how we will all elaborate on this and that. And they're just talking for the sake of talking because they think they sound really smart. So we don't need that in business analysis meetings, in thinking meetings. We need collaboration and we need discussion, okay? The other example is you talk too much out of fear because you're not really well prepared. You're afraid someone is going to notice. So you kind of start to talk about things you know about and this and repeating yourself and even maybe explaining to yourself over and over instead of actually focusing on the new topics, on the new agenda, on exploring new things, because it's a little bit scary. Another example, requirements walkthrough. You come to this walkthrough, if that's what you do in your job, you have big walkthroughs with a lot of people who were supposed to review requirements or a set of user stories for the next sprint or the section of a feature, whatever it is. And they're supposed to bring their feedback, which of course we know not always happens because people don't like reviewing documents. And then in the walkthrough, you were given a task. Okay, we need to get through this in 1 hour or 2 hours. And you just start going through, talking and explaining, again, without pausing, without letting everyone digest and respond and have any objections. And what happens there is that you basically forging through with your own agenda of talking through the whole list without anyone ideally interrupting you and kind of bullying everyone to approving at the end or signing off at the end because they don't want to be the one to say, hey, I didn't get it if everyone else seems to be getting it. So it's a little bit of a bullying tactic to keep talking. And finally, another thing happens when there's something unpleasant you found. There's something that isn't just right and you don't want to deal with it and you talk your way out of it And the thing with being a good communicator is it has a downside. If you are a really good communicator, if you can talk smoothly, if you have large vocabulary, but you are abusing it, and it actually compromises the integrity of requirements, or it compromises the ability to hear other people, that's not good. It's not what business analysis is about. So to be brief today, I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to make the same mistake. Please don't talk all the time yourself. Remember, communication is two-way street. Simplify your communication to make sure that you actually have a dialogue, that you hear back, and that you are collecting new information. Because if you went into that discussion, you said your piece, and you didn't collect anything back, it means you have not learned anything new. So you kind of wasted your time. That's it for today. Let me know in the comments what you think, and until next week.